On to day two of the college football playoff round one. Our next game up is SMU against Penn State. Penn State is the home team. They are a 9-point favorite. Over under of this game is 54. The big story on this game, does SMU belong in the playoffs, or did the committee, like they normally do, make a massive mistake of putting them in and kicking out the South Carolina, the Alabama, the Ole Miss? That's going to be the story. And Penn State, also, another little story here. Probably the easiest draw of any team in the college football playoff that didn't get a bye. You can make the argument that Boise State probably got the best draw, but they do have to play Penn State. But yeah, Penn State got a much easier schedule than the number one overall unanimous team, Oregon. Penn State has a SMU and then a Boise State to reach into the semis, whereas Oregon does have that bye, but will have to play the winner of a very competitive Tennessee-Ohio State game. So that is the storyline here. I'm going to take this one first, and call me crazy. I do think there's going to be an upset in round one. Is it going to be SMU? I don't think a single soul thinks SMU has any chance against Penn State. And this is why I think this is going to be the game that's going to be the upset. I'm going to take them at the +9. I'm going to take SMU, the Mustangs, +9. They are the one team here that no one expects to win. Indiana, they're kind of public. People are expecting them to win. We do record ahead of time, so we don't know the outcome of that Indiana Notre Dame game. If Indiana won, hats off to them. Clemson, people, can they really beat Texas? I don't know. That is the biggest spread. But Clemson is at least beat SMU, so we know they're better than them. And then Tennessee over Ohio State. Tennessee, very public team. No one is counting on SMU to do anything in here. Everyone thinks they're going to peel over and die to Penn State. And Penn State, we all know, can win the big game or can't win the big game, but they win every single other game that they're supposed to win. So this fits Penn State's category. They're at home. It's a whiteout. Unfortunately, it's a noon game. I just think everyone's brushing past SMU like it's an easy Penn State win, including myself. I do have a Penn State future out there just because their path to the playoff or to the championship game is so easy. But I just think Penn State could get caught off guard with a look-ahead spot to Boise State, a potential look-ahead spot like all of us are looking at them with a cakewalk to the semis. I think they might take this game a little light, which is crazy to say in a playoff game. But I think SMU can surprise them, and 9 points is just too much. I'm calling for the upset before the bet is going to be SMU +9. How about you?
Yeah, so we are head-to-head on this noon game here. I do think SMU got lucky with this one being a noon start and not a freezing cold whiteout game at night here. But yeah, I don't see SMU winning, and it's hard to take the points on a team that you just don't see winning, even though 9 is a lot of points. But I think Penn State is going to roll in this game. You kind of just look at the two teams coming in. You mentioned it with Penn State. Yeah, they lost the Big Ten championship, and they got rewarded for losing the Big Ten championship with the SMU Boise State first 2 rounds of the playoff here. Meanwhile, you had SMU, who outside of their early loss to BYU, ran the table undefeated the rest of the year. Outside of that, met Clemson, like you mentioned, in the ACC championship game, and Clemson got off to a very fast start in that one. We saw them go up 31-14 in the fourth quarter. SMU stormed all the way back. They could have laid down and died and still potentially made the playoff, but stormed all the way back, tied the game just to lose it late on a long Clemson field goal. Ultimately, it was good enough to get them into the playoff, but you just got to wonder what they have kind of left in the tank. I know they've had a week off since then. They're obviously jazzed up for this game. No one expected SMU in the playoff, but I just think they're outclassed here. Having to travel up to Penn State in the cold, just a much better team. Yeah, Penn State off the loss, but it was to Oregon, the number one team, the only undefeated team remaining. Outside of that, their only loss is Ohio State, another playoff team. I just think SMU's outclassed. I don't see them winning, so it's hard for me to take the points. I'm going to lay it with Penn State, which is really gross to lay 9 points in a college football playoff game. But I think Penn State ultimately kind of rolls SMU here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not proud of my bet at all. And again, I'm simply taking it because I think it's going to be the one that no one expects. And I get scarred from looking back and wondering why I didn't take that bet. But yeah, it's going to be a great game, hopefully. I do have that Penn State future. So if Penn State does advance, I won't be too upset. But yeah, we have 2 other games today. We have Clemson, Texas, and we have Tennessee, Ohio State. Make sure you do check out our page for our previews on that. And then continuing next week, we have a lot more bowl games moving into Christmas, and after Christmas, obviously the New Year's games as well. So make sure you do follow our page for more bowl previews. And until then, guys, we see you in the next episode. See you guys.
See you guys.
You better start listening to the Better in Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? Listen in and cash out. That's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover old spot from the bottom to the top, hey. Shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome, welcome to our podcast, Better in Green.